Hey guys, this is Hamon, and welcome back to Bytesize Summit, a show where I review games that have a chilled or relaxing vibe. And today, the game I'm talking about doesn't really have that, but I love it anyway. It is called Another Crab's Treasure, a game by Aggro Crab, who also made Going Under, which I reviewed in one of the previous seasons. And I'm going to tell you this, I love the game despite what I'm going to talk about in the gameplay aspect. So, getting right into it, the story of the game is that you are Krill, a hermit crab that lives in the tide pools. One day, as you're relaxing, a loan shark comes up to you and says, "Hey, you need to pay your taxes, otherwise we would collect your home as collateral." Now, you don't have anything to really pay it, so they take your house, and, obviously upset, you go after them to see if there's a way you can get it back, and start this journey to get your home back. Going into the ocean, meeting various characters and enemies to deal with, all just to get your home back. I will tell you this, it's a good game, despite the fact that it's a Souls-like. To get started, we are going to talk about the graphics, which is beautifully done. I love how everything looks. Everything underwater, even slightly above water when we're in the tide pools, looks really well done. I love the designs of the characters, the designs of the land, well, sea land, I guess, in this case. I love how some things can actually shift based on stuff. Like, to explain, the first area you enter is the shallows, a nice little sandy place that's kind of like how you would be in a beach type of scenario. Like if humans were around, like you see like little shovels and sand castles and various other things you would find around the beach that people have lost and all that. And you reach the Fort Slacktide, where the Duchess live, and it is a really beautiful sand castle with all kinds of stuff made like to look like an actual fortification and all that, and various characters you meet and such. Just give it that vibe of a castle even. Now, you're sent off to a cave to go collect a thing, but when you return from said cave, you find everything has gone dark and somber. The place has been slightly destroyed, enemies are everywhere, because they used to be the guards, for that matter, and eventually you find that the Duchess herself has been corrupted, and you have to deal with her. And I love that, because what that does is that it shows that a place that you have been to before might alter after some time, and therefore you may have to fight the people that you used to call friends or at least acquaintances. And it was brilliant for that. That just makes it all brilliant, and as you continue on, you see more colorful places and more colorful characters and such, and what is probably going to be future bosses at one point or another, and it's all well done. Now, that leads me into gameplay. Like I said, this is in fact a Souls-like, but I'm going to say it's more of a casual Souls-like. Now, in the terms of Souls-like, it's what you'd expect. You get a weapon that you can use to attack enemies, to do heavy damage, to do special attacks and all that once you unlock the abilities, which I'll get to later. Then you have your shell, which you find in using various objects that you find on the ocean floor, whether it's a can from Fizzle, whether it's a little sriracha top, whether it's a coconut shell, various other things. Each one gives you a defense, which you can use to block enemies' attacks, and once you unlock the ability, which again I'll get to later, you can even parry attacks. Now, the other thing about that, like I just said, the shells have a thing of weight and even special abilities, which is called shell spells, which require umami. And the shell spells, depending on which shell it is, are very interesting. For instance, if you get the Fizzle can, you can shoot out bubbles that will hone in on the enemy if they get too close, and pop it in front of them, making them take damage and all that. Now, the abilities, like I mentioned, you have to go to the moon snail, which happen to also be the provider of the fast travel places that you can get, which are moon snail shells. This is essentially your torch from Dark Souls, or your lantern from Bloodborne, or whatever other fast travel points in the other Souls-like games you can find. So this is where you can fast travel, where you can level up, where you can view your collection of shells in this game. And yeah, just relax. And obviously, just like in the other ones, once you go in it to relax and all that, the enemies that you've killed already spawn back and you have to kill them again. Which can be annoying, but at the same time, you know, it's fine. Here's the thing. I am not a Souls-like player. I am going to admit that right out. So there will be times that I forget that I can block, I can parry, I can do all stuff. I just try to go for the attack all the time. And that's a big problem because a lot of times I am dealing with enemies that would do great if I blocked more often. Although part of me also feels like it's partially the fact that I can't really get readings off characters in a sense. But either way. The good thing is, though, despite all that, there is in fact a caveat to having to deal with enemies that are hard for me to deal with. And that is the assist mode that they have in the settings. This menu area allows you to put on special things that make the game easier, slightly easier to very easy. From getting extra invulnerability frames, from getting increased durability, to getting less health, to various other factors. All that really can make the game easier. But the one that will really help me in this case, especially if I die too many times, is the option to give Krill a gun. And I'm not talking about like a little sharpshooter thing in their claw and all that. No, this is a shell that has the shell spell to shoot. And that shot instantly kills anything that gets hit by it. And so that is essentially the one of the best ways to basically progress with the story if you're stuck on a point. For instance, I couldn't fight the Duchess at some point. Actually, I could provide the clip right here. Hey, this is Editing Hamoon, and just to quickly say something, so post making the audio for this recording, I actually played the game a couple more times and found that I do a lot better when I switch over to mouse and keyboard, especially after the controller was giving me so much trouble. And so I have decided that it might be more, not just the assist mode makes the whole thing easier. It's a lot easier if you have a play style or control scheme that fits more of how you go. So yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, I really got mad at that point that I just didn't want to have to go through it all again and just got the gun and shot her dead. Simple as that. So, yeah, that was a fun experience. But that's essentially what the gun is for me. That if I get stuck at a point, I can just use it to get out of it. Although I am also doing a separate file where I just use the gun straight out and just kill everything I can find. To basically be able to just have fun, like a sort of stress relief, because sometimes it's fun. It is the whole idea of just being able to kill everything with ease is fun. In any case, I love the game for what it is, which is essentially a casual Souls-like. I really applaud AgroCrab for coming out with this and making it as much as a Souls-like as possible, but also giving people the option to basically tweak the game so that they can essentially make it a casual one, especially with the gun. So, if you want to check this out, I definitely recommend it. It is available on Xbox Game Pass for free as long as you're a subscriber. Otherwise, available on the following consoles, if any, with the price below. And with all that said, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And why not come check out my Twitch, where you'll see me play this game for the most part, as well as many other games. But if not, then I'll see you next time. Bye!